Hey y'all, it's your girl Rai Rozay, and you are now tuned in to the Miseducation of Gen Z podcast. Class is in session. Hey guys, welcome back to the Miseducation of Gen Z, and today there is no guest. It's your girl Rai Rozay. I haven't done a solo episode in a minute actually, so it feels good to be in the studio by myself. I just haven't done it by myself in a long time. I don't think I've done a solo episode since the TMOGZ time capsule. And if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that right now. Dang yeah. But yeah, today I just wanted to catch up with y'all solo by myself and kind of do like a little bit of a life check-in. I wouldn't say life updates. I would say life check-in. One thing that I really love about TMOGZ, and it's so unintentional, which really, for me, is kind of like a sign of alignment, is that the episodes, when I'm planning them out, I'm not planning them out according to theme and, oh, this person is going to talk, I'm going to talk about this and that with this person and this and that with that person, and post it in any particular order. There have been times where like I've recorded like a lot of things at once and I'm like, okay, let me post this and this and this and this. But most of the time, just even with recording, because most of the time I'll post in the order that I record in. Very rarely do I like scramble up the order. But I will say that a sign of alignment for me is a sign of alignment for me feeling okay with how my path in life is going right now is when there's a lot of synchronicities. And with TMOGZ, there have been so many synchronicities when recording with guests. Like, I'll record with someone and the theme or something that like really stood out to me in that episode will like pop up everywhere in my life, like in that week or like in that time frame around the time where I record or around the time I'm posting. But usually like they'll kind of like lead into one. I don't know if y'all noticed that. I'm sure if you're watching, like you should be watching, thank you, you would notice those synchronicities that like, oh, this episode with Cody tied into this episode with Kayla, and this episode with Kayla tied into this episode with Money, and this episode with Rain. Like, a lot of those episodes have been unintentionally synced up. And I kind of like that because these are lessons that I'm not just putting them out there for y'all to learn, I'm learning them too. Like, these are things that I'm taking in. Like, when I'm planning them, I can't predict what the conversation is going to go like. I can have an idea, but I can't fully predict it. So when having these conversations and I hear something like that I didn't think I was going to hear or something that I absolutely needed to hear, I love that. And I especially love when it ties into like how my life is going at the moment. And I want to say like the last episode that I did with Lauren, it's not the most recent one because by the time this airs, Aaron's episode will be out. So if you didn't watch that, go ahead and watch that right now. Thank you. I'm spamming the freak out of thank you. But yes, as I was saying, Lauren's episode, we talked a lot about moving with confidence. And we've also talked about the topic of confidence with Kayla and Rain on previous episodes. But as of recently, I feel like confidence has been like a super, what's the word? Has definitely been a theme for me these past couple of months. In today's episode, I really wanted to tap into not specifically confidence. I will bring up confidence and how it ties into what I will be talking about on this episode, but more so I want to focus on fear and how I have been letting fear dictate the way that I move and things that I do in my life, and how as of recently I've decided that that was not going to be the case anymore. So yeah, so like I said, a little bit of a life update. I have been, I've made like not a drastic career change. I still work in education, but now I'm teaching. And that wasn't something that I always envisioned. And I think I've talked about that briefly on past episodes, but I haven't dived too deep into the topic because that's just not something I really felt the need to get into. But I think I'm someone that is a creature of habit. Like I can assimilate to change, but would I prefer if things stayed familiar? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, I can go with the flow like easily. Like, yeah, I can, but I have to wrap my head around what changes are coming. But I know that is something that I need to work on, and I have been trying to actively work on, trying not to control, like, okay, like if I move like this, then this will be the outcome for this, and blah blah blah. No one can predict what the outcome of anything is going to be. So I can only hope and pray and do all the manifesting or whatever that I want for a particular outcome. That doesn't mean that's actually going to happen. So in bringing up this career change and like other aspects of my life have been things that I didn't necessarily foresee for myself originally. And that has been scary to go through these transitions that I didn't always envision. And they're not bad transitions. They're just not what I had envisioned for myself in the past. And I bring up the topic of fear because I feel like a lot of times my decisions are tied to fear of a particular outcome or reaction, depending on like what it is. Like whether it's the way I talk to people, it might be fear out of how the situation might escalate. It might be fear out of me speaking up about something that bothers me and that changing the trajectory of a particular relationship. And as far as like opportunities and stuff, this has been the biggest, I kid you not, the biggest like test of my like faith and pushing myself past the fear of being perceived. But I still have that fear that I've definitely brought up on more than one occasion. And you would think by now, like I've been on camera for, it's going to be almost a year because I started filming before I aired the first episode. But yeah, you would think by now, like, oh, like she's used to being on camera or she's used to being online. No, I'm still not used to it. And it's funny because I think I was someone that was very active on social media at one point. And honestly, content creation is such a full-time job, especially when you're doing it by yourself, that I don't think initially when I decided to do TMOGZ, I was fully mentally prepared for the amount of work that I have to do by myself, the amount of people that'll see me, or the like backlash or nasty comments or even the positive comments that I would get. And so this fear of being perceived is still super heavy for me, because I'm still getting used to my, me changing careers and me trying to build something from the ground up on my own. It's a lot of work, and I don't think I've unleashed like my fullest potential as far as like how hard I can go for pushing TMOGZ. And I feel really bad because not that there's any pressure from anyone specifically, or no one is like, you have to do this or you have to do that. I naturally put a lot of pressure on myself with things that I do, whether it's a project for school, whether it's a project for work, whether it's just anything that I want to do, I naturally put this big amount of pressure on myself. And we've talked about the fact that I'm a perfectionist, and I think the biggest fear for me right now is me putting in all this effort and it's for nothing. And I never want to sit there and speak negative things into existence because I'm trying to work on how I frame my mindset with things. And I don't want to be well, what if it does this and what if it does that? And it's a negative aspect. I'm really, really trying to get out of that. I'm very much trying to be more present. But this is something I work hard. But could I work harder? Oh, abso-fucking. Ooh, we're trying to stop cursing. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. You know? So, so I don't think I've been pushing myself as hard as I can. I think I'm also trying to pace myself. I don't want to burn out because I think this is like the longest lasting project that I've worked on, and it's by myself. And this is a super long-term project, as you can see. So I think it's me also trying to pace myself, but also me being fearful of me putting in all this work and it's for nothing. Me being fearful of how people are going to see me, how they're going to perceive me, if they're going to like what they see. And that is something I am really, 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 really trying to work on. The theme of the past month has definitely been like fear, but like getting over fear. And I haven't done anything like mind-boggling or super life-changing, but I have had encounters in the last like month that were really scary for me. They might not be scary for the average person, but these are things that scare me. Like really like going in on trying to make more content that will get pushed out has been a goal for me. So doing trends that aren't my just super like that aren't like clips of TMOGZ just chopped up. I'm trying to put myself out there more, introduce myself to other people more, tell people about my podcast more. But then that is something like, well, I would say people at your job don't necessarily need to know what you do like outside of your 9 to 5. So there's that. So I'm not like announcing that I do a podcast or what my podcast is, because I tell people I have a podcast. I just don't tell everyone what the name of it is, depending on like who they are to me. If you're a stranger, I don't care. Like go ahead and go ahead, subscribe, follow, like, be active. But y'all should be really proud of me. I think one thing that I'm really proud of, and I put myself out there, is that I made a audition video for Streamer University. So when I get in, I'm gonna do a big announcement or something. I don't know. We'll see what I do. But y'all hearing it here first. When I get into Streamer U, I don't want to hear nothing about nothing, but best believe the content is gonna be contenting. Okay. 2, that has been something that's kind of fearful for me because I wanted to apply for Streamer U from last year, but I wasn't pushing out content yet. So I was like, that don't really make no sense. So I didn't apply, and because honestly, it didn't make sense. You need to be a content creator of some sort. Like you have to have started it, whether you're big or small. You have to have started your content creation career. I didn't start mine, not seriously anyway. So I was like, okay, well, I'll apply next year. And my best friend, Alexis, had been really pushing me to apply. She was like, yeah, when the applications go out, we're going to have you apply. We're going to have you apply. She was like, just make sure you're ready to apply when the applications go out. And I kid you not, I go on Instagram the other day, and it was Streamer U, wow. The Streamer U applications were out. And I was like, oh, shoot. Now I have to actually apply because I've been saying I was going to apply for the last year. And yeah, so that was something I was really fearful of. And now, like, now that it's passed and I've recorded the video, I've sent in the video, I've filled in my application, it doesn't feel as deep to me as it did last week, because it was literally last week. But I was so scared, y'all. I was so scared and working myself into a panic that I was boo-hoo freaking crying, because I was like, I'm scared. Like, I have all these goals for TMOGZ and for myself that I think in my mind I was scared, because like I said, I'm a creature of habit. I think my brain automatically associated, like, if you get into streamer your life is going to be drastically different by the time you get out of streamer you. So, and yeah, they would be good changes and positive changes, but I think it was just a lot for me to grasp that my life could possibly change in the span of less than a month. I think that was really scary, and that was really hard for me to grasp, because, like I said, I haven't been putting myself out there as much as I possibly could. And like I said, that's my fault. But I think to go from, double digit followers or triple digit followers to 6 digits, because that's a goal that I have for TMOGZ, is a lot of pressure that I'm putting on myself. No one is saying you need to reach this amount of followers by this time. No, I have all these goals for myself that I want to fulfill, but it's still a lot for me to wrap my brain around the fact that I could go from literally being seen by the peers that I actually know and people that might come across the video because other people shared it or whatever it is, versus like people like going out of their way, finding me, finding out who I am, and really getting to know like my personality. So shout out to Alexis, because she got me through that wave of emotions that I was feeling when I was ready to film my Streamer U application video. But the fear of being perceived has always been super heavy for me, and y'all know that. And I think being that it's Streamer U and it's IRL streaming, so it's like in real time you're watching everything that someone is doing, and it doesn't have to be 24 hours, but it's for a long period of time you're streaming, and you're having people like watch everything that you do, on top of meeting new people for the first time and trying to not do the most to be seen, but showing your personality enough where it's like, okay, this is who Ray is, and we really like it or we really don't fuck with it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a lot for, I think, anyone to grasp, but I think it's been a lot for me to grasp, because I'm someone that wasn't, I don't think I thought so far ahead. I just knew that I wanted to create something for myself and for Gen Z to have that community that I feel like we definitely need. And for me, it wasn't about the numbers or the amount of people that I would reach. Do I want to reach a lot of people? Absolutely. But I want to reach a lot of people because I want to be able to help a lot of people. You get what I'm saying? So I think it was me trying to wrap my head around the fact that they're the same thing. It's like, okay, I'm gonna reach 100,000 people to help them, but at the same time, I'm gonna reach 100,000 people. That's a lot of fucking people, a lot of freaking people. I'm trying to stop cursing y'all, so excuse me, y'all. But yeah, I think it was quite intimidating for me to wrap my head around possibly reaching the large number of people that I do eventually want to reach, but in a shorter amount of time than I imagined initially. So yeah, that's been something that I've been trying to work on. And like I said, I think once I filmed the application, I felt way better. I felt like, damn, girl, what was you stressing about? What were you even crying about? But also talking to my cousin had really helped me with that, and my mom. And it's funny, I spoke to a few people that week, and that's why I said fear was the topic of this time period. Because in the span of 1 week, I spoke to maybe like 5 different people, and they all, without me bringing up any past conversations I had with anyone else that I had that week, or me expressing certain feelings that I'm having about different things, the topic of fear came up. It was like God was speaking to me through all the people in my life that I needed to hear from that week, or that needed to hear from me that week. But honestly, I think I needed to hear from them. And they all basically said the same thing, that I need to stop moving and being scared to move. Like, they all told me to stop moving with fear, essentially. But my cousin Pop had told me that, and he came up with this off the dome, and I really thought it was so cool, because I said, did you come up with that? He was like, yeah, absolutely. He was like, yeah, I just came up with that right now. I was like, wow, that's like so cool. People come up with stuff like that off the dome. But he said that fear is feeling everything is an alternate reality. And I was like, huh. He was like, did you get that? I was like, yeah, I did. And if y'all didn't get that, it was fear is feeling everything is an alternate reality. And I thought that was so dope and so profound, because it's like, that is what I fear the most. I don't fear like doing something in the moment. I fear the outcome and what will happen after I do whatever it is that I'm thinking about doing. Even down to like how I put on an outfit, like, be like, oh, what if this does this, or what if this looks like this? And yeah, no. But feeling that everything is an alternate reality is definitely the realest explanation of what fear is that I've heard in a very long time. Because honestly, that is all I fear. I fear what is going to happen after I do or say or move a certain way. It's literally all fear is for me. Now that might not be the case for you, but for me, it's me just focusing on like, okay, what's gonna happen if I do this? What's gonna happen if I say this? What's gonna happen if this happens and this happens and that happens? What's gonna happen if this doesn't happen? Like, that's always the thing that I get myself worked up on the most. And again, without even bringing up that conversation specifically with my cousin, because I think that was the first conversation that led into like a string of other conversations that I felt like were connected. And I'm like, okay, God, you're trying to tell me something. Like, just do what you need to do. Ray, just do what you need to do, and it's gonna be fine. Like, stop moving like you're scared of everything. Even me, like, super scary. Me reaching out to someone that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and it was for good reason, but it was still scary for me, because I'm someone that, and I think this would be the only time I would agree when my best friend calls me stubborn, or when anyone calls me stubborn. Otherwise, I don't think I'm stubborn. I think I just know what I like, and I stand on business for real. But this is a rare case for me. Like, I'm a softie for sure, but I also stand on business when it comes to like my values and my feelings. I don't play by my feelings. So me reaching out to someone and working on a relationship that was very important to me was something that I was fearful of, because one, I was scared, like, okay, what if this person doesn't want to work on this relationship? What if this person doesn't even care? What if this person doesn't even answer the phone? So that was something that I was working on. And I think actually that is what kicked off like that topic of fear for me. Like, other things were, I was feeling fearful of other things, of course, but I think that's what kicked off the topic of fear for me, and that being the theme of why I'm deciding not to move with fear or have fear dictate my life anymore. I hope this is making sense to y'all. But yeah, throughout the week, I feel like I was getting different messages from God, and He was telling me not to be fearful of reaching out, not to be fearful of being seen or perceived, not to be fearful of showing off my personality, and not to be fearful of taking opportunities. And also, real talk, not to be fearful of taking up space. I think for the last 10 plus years, I feel like I've been working on it for the last few years, but as a kid, I've been scared to take up space. I think maybe from high school, I think is when I started to, become a little bit more self-aware of how I'm being perceived by people. And that's when I started to care more. And I think fear of perception was probably always a huge thing for me. But I think by the time I got to high school, by the time you get to high school, and I'm noticing this, working with high schoolers, they don't have any self-awareness. So I think I didn't really care how I was being perceived, or I didn't realize how I was being perceived in high school. But when it did click for me, I think that's when it started getting a little weird for me to feel like it was okay to show off my personality. So I think by the time I got to college, I kind of like toned myself down and shrunk myself into a lot of spaces to assimilate well. And I've always been someone that can assimilate and be cool and vibe with anybody around me since I was a kid. Even in the times where I was trying to like shrink my personality down or water myself down to vibe with certain people in the room. I know for a fact I don't have to. Why? Because I don't need to be in every single room. And I've learned that, and I've come to learn that. But growing up, no, I would be like, okay, I'm going to be in this room. Let's tone down the eccentricness and let's be a little bit more chill. And now that I'm older, I'm not as loopsy all over the place as I was as a teenager. But I would say like my friends and family will see a certain side of me that I don't expose to everybody. Not that everybody needs access to 100% of your person and your personality, but I will say it's definitely different having to kind of shrink yourself rather than taking up the space that you normally would. And so I've been doing that even at work. Like, I feel like from a young age, we learn to like code switch and like act differently in certain spaces than we do with people that we're comfortable with. But I had been feeling kind of like exhausted from having to kind of mask myself every time I go to work, where it's like, oh, I can't really show off my personality because I don't really want these people to know me that well. And I think I didn't realize how exhausting it is to not be myself 100%. And it's not me not being myself. It's just me not being 100% of myself. It would be me on like, if on a regular day, like with y'all, say I'm on 100 right now. At work, I'd probably be on like 40. And my students would be like, Miss, you're so chill. You're so nonchalant. I love that. And I was like, I think that was the first time I really decided like to really analyze how I move and how my personality comes off and shows itself to the world. Because I was like, nonchalant? Me? Nonchalant? Girl, I be freaking chalanting my butt off. What are you talking about? I chalant all freaking day. Never in my life have I heard that I'm nonchalant. I think initially, like if I'm warming up to you, you might not see 100% bubbly, or I might not seem 100% bubbly. I might not seem like I have a lot of energy, but that's me just kind of like feeling out the environment, feeling out the room, feeling out the people in the room. But to get nonchalant, and I was working there long enough where it's like, this should not be the way that I'm being perceived. And there's nothing wrong with being nonchalant, but I know that I'm not nonchalant, and that's what threw me off. And it was like, that's not you. And it's like, these people think you are this nonchalant, chill baddie that don't really say too much, do too much. And that's not you. That's not you at all. You could be chill, but Ray, you're not chill all the time. You're not nonchalant ever unless you really just don't care. And there are times where it will get to like the fact that I don't care. There's times where I'm talking to colleagues or coworkers and I really don't care. Like I could care less. I couldn't care less. But yeah, I was like, girl, that's not you. And it was really interesting to hear that nonchalant, so chill vibe that I give off from multiple people. And I was like, huh. And by the end of the workday, I would be so exhausted. Why? Because I would be masking all day and then go home and then be exhausted because I wasn't myself all day. And I don't want to be like that. Not that I have to walk into every space and, hey, like I don't have to do that. But I think when it's appropriate to take up space, take up space. That goes for me and for y'all. And going back to the streamer you, me being scared to even submit and record a video was me being scared to take up space, because I know if I take up space in this video and they like me, I'm going to have to take up space when I go to that damn university. And then people will really see, oh, she acts like this. Yeah, baby, I act like that. And yeah, baby. But I think that was it was overwhelming for me to think of, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on camera in real time, no cuts, live, and y'all are going to see how I act for real. Y'all going to see how I really am all the time around the people that I'm closest to. So yeah. So I've been really actively trying to work on not being like this super cool, stone cold, chill baddie, nonchalant baddie. And really just come and being myself. And not moving with fear. So like that was, I think, like the first big step that I took with trying not to move with fear, is me being like, okay, let me show off my personality. Because one day, one of my coworkers, we were talking, and naturally with my friends, I'll dance, I'll sing, I'll do like a bunch of stuff, because not for attention, but naturally that's just what I do when I'm like, I'm either happy or I'm vibing or whatever. My coworker goes, whoa, I never seen you emote before. I said, emote? I said, oh, Lord. I said, we're getting very comfortable. And honestly, that makes sense. Why? Because I talk to this person almost every single day. If I see them and they're there, or I have a free period or something and we're talking, yeah, I talk to this person every single day. Eventually, it would be normal for them to actually see a bit of your personality. But for me, it was scary because it was like, red flag, why are you seeing my personality right now? What do you mean you saw me emo in the deli? He was like, yeah, I've never seen you emo. Like, oh, that means we're too comfortable. But I shouldn't be making myself uncomfortable to make everybody else comfortable. Now, I think there's time and place for things, absolutely. But I don't see why me being in the break room, I feel like I have to be like this nonchalant stone cold. Hey. How you doing? Like, no. That's not me. So I think that was like the first realization. And then after that, I spoke to someone and they're like, well, would it be so bad if you like actually showed off your personality at work? And I was like, well, no, but they're like, well, what would you be afraid of when showing off your personality at work? I was like, I don't know, just not being liked. But honestly, I don't have to be liked by everyone, and it's not that deep for me. But I think it's the idea of like people thinking they like me until they actually get to know me, and it's like, oh, actually, never mind, I don't really fuck with you. But I don't really care anymore. And so since coming to that realization that I was masking at work, I've definitely been showing off my personality. And honestly, no one has said, bitch, we don't fuck with you no more because you showing off your real personality. No, if anything, I think people have assimilated to me more and have gravitated towards me more because they're like, girl, you're actually funny. I'm not funny on purpose all the time, but I'm like, girl, you're actually funny and blah, blah, blah. And we used to just think that you were like really quiet, really to yourself, kind of mean. I always get the kind of mean. But yeah, I definitely think that was something I needed to do. And I'm happy that I did. Because the right people, showing off yourself to the right people will never scare anyone off, okay? So if you're ever scared, like, oh, if I'm doing too much, you're never doing too much when you're around the right people. Always remember that. And, you know, we haven't done I haven't done a solo episode with y'all in forever. But the song that I feel like resonates right now with how this season in my life is going, this current season, is Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Oh my gosh. Y'all know that? Release your inhibition. Whoa. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. I'm probably gonna have to cut some of this out, but yeah, release your inhibitions. Girl, what? She was literally speaking to me when she wrote that because I was like, hold on, like really, like release all your inhibitions. Do everything your heart desires. Stop being scared. Stop moving like somebody's going to do something to you if you don't do something, or if you do something. No one's going to do anything to you. Just do what you want and release anything that's holding you back. That has been so on point to what I feel like I've been trying to really grasp with myself. So yeah, down to how I'm dressing, how I'm talking, how I'm doing my hair, how I'm putting myself out there on social media, how I'm connecting with people. Yeah, and honestly, Unwritten is perfect because I don't know what's gonna happen, and that's the thing that scares me the most. But it could be really freaking awesome. It could be the best outcome ever. So I have to stop focusing on the worst, because I would naturally say like, oh, I'm just trying to prepare myself for if something bad happens. And I use the analogy of Well, I try to think of it like having a fire extinguisher in a building. You have the fire extinguisher in there just in case there's a fire. He's like, yeah, but you have it there, but you're not hoping for the fire. And it'd be like I'm just always walking around with the fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher, scared and turning around every 5 seconds. Like there's going to be a fire behind me, in front of me, around the corner. And that's exhausting to sit there and hold up a fire extinguisher walking around on edge every day. And I feel like that's exactly how I was moving in my life. And I don't want to move like that anymore. I don't. And I won't. So this is my accountability partner right here. Y'all gonna get more push out of me. And I honestly don't care if I'm annoying people. That was another thing that I was really, really, I think, fearful of. I wasn't posting certain content because I was like, how are people gonna like this content? What if they think this shit is weird? What if they think that I'm doing the most? Or what if I'm doing too much? But like I said, the right people will never think that you're doing too much. They'll either think you're doing just enough or doing everything that you need to do. But never too much. And it'll never be too much in a negative way, ever. So, yeah. Best believe this is my accountability partner. And by the time y'all watch this, y'all will see my Streamer U audition because I'm going to post it because Alexis pushed me to post it. Why? Because I'd be stupid not to post it when everybody's going viral and getting pushed. And I want to reach a bigger audience. I want to reach more people. I want to be able to help more people. And honestly, there's probably someone out there right now that needs to hear what I've been going through and what I've been thinking about as far as fear, as far as putting myself out there, as far as being perceived, as far as grasping opportunities that are literally right in my face. So, this is my accountability partner. Y'all are my accountability partner. And yeah, I'm just super excited to see what happens with the Streamer U stuff. Hopefully by the time, because no one knows when the deadline is. No one knows when he's going to be announcing who's getting picked. I think he's just going to tell people like day of and do a stream. So hopefully by the time this airs, that'll be out or it'll be coming out and I'll let y'all know and I'll update y'all. So as we're closing today, I did want to talk about the things that I am learning, unlearning, and relearning. Let's do all three. Fuck it, let's do it. We're trying to stop cursing, but oh my gosh, it's hard, y'all. It's hard. But I'm trying to build up my vocabulary and I want to sound intelligent. Not that anyone that curses doesn't, but I know I could sound more intelligent if I stopped cursing. So go ahead and drop a comment down below. Go ahead and drop a comment down below wherever you're listening or watching, and comment how many times you heard me curse. See if y'all can figure out how many times I cursed in this episode, or I corrected myself. But I've been really trying to work on lack of cursing. I've been cursing since I was a kid, which is not good, but I think I use it a lot for like filler words, or if I can't think of another word to say how I'm feeling or to express how I'm feeling. I'm trying to use less filler words, less curse words. I really want to stop cursing in general. I don't like that I curse as much as I do, to be quite honest. But sometimes I feel like it's just necessary. Like, and I'm going to curse right now, but like when you say like nigga, like there's just a certain, it's just you can't beat that. Be like, really nigga, or bitch, damn, like, you know what I mean? Oh, also, it's gonna post after, but happy Juneteenth. Black and I'm proud and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, blah, blah, black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blah, 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 and I'm black, y'all. But anyway, as we're closing today's episode, I wanted to focus on what I'm learning, unlearning, and relearning when it comes to navigating through this this season of fear. So one thing that I am learning is that I can never be too much when I'm around the right people. When I'm around the right people, I'll never be too much for someone. When I'm in the right rooms, I'll never be too much for the people that are in those rooms. and dare someone say that I am, I'll create my own freaking room. That's why I created TMOGZ. I'll have my own freaking room, okay? So don't let anyone tell you that you're doing too much or you're doing the most or you're taking up too much space, because, baby, the space is there to be taken up. There's enough space for everybody, okay? Don't let anyone tell you that you can't take up space. Something that I am unlearning. I am unlearning being scared of. I'm unlearning being scared of making moves and letting fear dictate how I move in life, with people, with opportunities, and not letting fear have me miss out on things and people. Something that I am relearning. What am I relearning? I would say that I'm relearning to be myself 100%. I'm relearning to be myself unapologetically. And I'm relearning kind of like what it was like before I had this idea of people constantly perceiving me. I think it's so important to just who you are when you're alone, to really tap into that and actually allow people to see that side of yourselves. They don't need to see it all the time. Every single person in the world doesn't need to see it, but allow some people to have that access to you, because it does more for you than it does for them. That is something that I am definitely learning. Allowing myself to be myself is doing way more for me than I ever thought it would, as far as how I'm feeling. I didn't think it would affect me so much. So yeah, I'm relearning to be myself. So allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Rai. And yeah, that's it. Thank y'all so much for rocking me. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to follow, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to keep up with me at Rai Rozay. That's with 2 I's and 2 Y's, and follow the podcast at TMOGZ podcast. We're coming at you every other Tuesday. Not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. #TMOGZ Tuesday. Okay. Yeah, thank y'all so much for rocking me. I love y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to be myself and for tuning in whenever y'all do. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. I love y'all and I really appreciate y'all. And yeah, I will see y'all next time. Bye y'all.